Chapter 1: The Origins of Fear.
Fear is a universal experience that takes root early in life and is shaped by various factors throughout a person's development. While some fears are innate, others are learned through personal experiences, societal conditioning, and the influence of family and environment. In this chapter, we will explore the origins of fear, particularly how it develops in childhood, how cultural and societal norms shape what we fear, and the significant role that family and environment play in fostering or mitigating these fears.
Fear in childhood.
Fear begins early in life as a natural and necessary response to unfamiliar or potentially dangerous situations. During childhood, fear serves as a protective mechanism, teaching children how to navigate the world safely. However, childhood fears can be both temporary developmental or long-lasting, depending on the experiences and reinforcements a child receives. Developmental fears. Children often go through predictable stages of fear, many of which are considered a normal part of growing up. These fears help them understand boundaries and protect themselves from harm.
Examples of childhood developmental fears.
Fear of strangers. Infants and toddlers often display fear when encountering unfamiliar people. This is known as stranger anxiety and typically begins around 6 to 12 months of age. Evolutionarily, this fear helped children avoid danger from unknown individuals who might pose a threat. Fear of separation. Around 1 to 2 years of age, many children experience separation anxiety, fearing being apart from their primary caregiver. This fear stems from a sense of vulnerability and dependence on caregivers for safety and security. Fear of the dark. As children grow, they develop imaginations, which can sometimes fuel fear of the dark or monsters. This usually begins between the ages of 3 and 6, although this fear has no real basis in danger. It's rooted in a child's understanding that threats could exist in places they cannot see, like dark rooms or under the bed. Conditioned and learned fears. Some childhood fears are learned through experience or observation. For instance, if a child experiences a traumatic event, such as a dog bite, they may develop a fear of dogs that lasts into adulthood. Similarly, if children observe their parents being afraid of something, like thunderstorms or spiders, they may also internalize that fear.
Examples of conditioned fears.
Fear of dogs after a bite. A child who is bitten by a dog may develop a fear of all dogs, associating them with pain or danger. Fear of water. After a near-drowning incident, a child who has had a frightening experience in a pool or body of water may develop an aversion to swimming, fearing the possibility of drowning. Parental influence on fear. Children are also sensitive to their parents' reactions and may model their own fear responses based on what they observe. If a parent frequently expresses anxiety or fear in certain situations, a child is more likely to adopt those fears.
Cultural and societal influences on fear.
Culture and society play a significant role in shaping what we fear and how we respond to those fears. Throughout history, communities and societies have relied on fear to maintain order, protect group identity, and promote certain norms. These influences can be subtle, manifesting in childhood through education, media, or community values.
Cultural fear conditioning.
Cultural fears are often deeply embedded in collective consciousness, passed down from one generation to the next. These fears may not always have an immediate basis in personal experience, but they persist due to societal reinforcement.
Examples of cultural fears.
Fear of supernatural beings. Many cultures have myths and legends involving supernatural entities such as ghosts, witches, or evil spirits. Children raised in cultures that emphasize these stories may develop fears of the dark or specific locations where these beings are believed to exist. Fear of failure, honor, and shame cultures. In some societies, particularly those with strong honor and shame dynamics, for example, certain Asian or Middle Eastern cultures, children may develop a deep fear of failure or public embarrassment. This fear stems from the cultural value placed on family reputation and societal approval. Fear of social rejection, Western individualism. In Western cultures that emphasize individual achievement and social status, children may develop fears related to social rejection, such as not fitting in with peers or not meeting societal expectations of success.
Media and fear.
Media plays a powerful role in shaping modern fears, particularly through the portrayal of crime, violence, and danger in television, movies, and news. Children and adolescents, who are highly impressionable, may develop fears based on what they consume in the media, even if they have no direct experience with the dangers being portrayed.
Examples of media-driven fears.
Fear of kidnapping or crime. Overexposure to news reports or crime dramas depicting kidnappings or home invasions can make children fear for their personal safety, even in environments where the actual risk is low. Fear of climate change. As global media increasingly reports on climate-related disasters, children may develop existential fears about the future of the planet, despite not having experienced any direct consequences of climate change themselves.
The role of family and environment.
Family and the surrounding environment have a profound impact on how children develop and manage fear. Supportive, nurturing environments can help children learn to cope with fear in healthy ways, while negative or chaotic environments can reinforce and magnify fears.
Family's influence on fear development.
Parents and caregivers are children's first and most influential guides when it comes to managing fear. How parents react to their children's fears can either exacerbate or soothe those fears. Children whose parents are responsive and provide reassurance tend to overcome their fears more easily. In contrast, children who grow up in environments where fear is used as a tool of control may have a heightened sense of anxiety and insecurity.
Examples of family influence.
Encouraging fear resilience. A parent who helps a child face a fear gradually, such as allowing them to sleep with a nightlight and offering comfort when scared, fosters resilience. Over time, the child learns that the fear, for example, fear of the dark is not warranted, and they develop confidence. Amplifying fear. A parent who reacts with alarm or panic when their child is afraid may inadvertently magnify that fear. For example, if a child is afraid of thunderstorms and the parent responds with exaggerated concern or fear, the child may develop a heightened fear of storms.
Environment's influence on fear.
The environment a child grows up in, including school, neighborhood, and broader community, also influences fear development. Children raised in safe, predictable environments where they feel secure are generally better equipped to handle fear. Conversely, children in chaotic, unstable, or dangerous environments may experience chronic fear and anxiety.
Examples of environmental influence.
Growing up in a high-crime neighborhood, a child living in an area with high crime rates may develop a heightened sense of fear and vigilance as their environment constantly exposes them to real dangers. This may result in chronic anxiety or hyper-alertness. School environment. A child attending a school with supportive teachers and peers is likely to feel less fearful and more confident. On the other hand, children who experience bullying or social exclusion may develop deep fears of rejection or confrontation.
Conclusion.
Fear is a multifaceted emotion that begins in childhood and is shaped by numerous factors, including developmental stages, cultural conditioning, and the influence of family and environment. While some fears are natural and protective, others are learned or amplified through experience and societal expectations. By understanding the origins of fear, we can better address and manage the fears that develop throughout life, helping individuals grow into more resilient and confident adults.